Hello everyone again. Now, in this lesson, I'm going to go through something new today, and this is called volume and capacity. Now, most of you probably already know what volume is, as you've done so many questions on it already. Capacity is something that's new and introduced to you. Now, what is the difference? Well, volume is the amount of space occupied by a solid shape. The base unit for volume is cubic meter. So remember the questions you've done in the past. Volume of a triangular prism, volume of a rectangular prism, and so on. That's all volume. And the unit should be meters cubed or centimeters cubed or millimeters cubed and so on. Now, the amount of liquid that can be poured into a container is called the capacity of the container. And the basic unit for capacity is the liter. So think of capacity as in terms of liters and volume as in terms of cubic meters. So I'm sure you guys know what 1 liter is, right? So that's just capacity. Alright, so let's just go through some of these questions. Now, it was going to start off pretty easy and it will get progressively more difficult. The question just asks you convert to liters. Alright, so this should be pretty straightforward. So we know that, question 1, alright. So it says convert to liters, 10,000 mils. Now, how do you convert from milliliters to liters? Well, it's the same way as converting from millimeters to meters, right? To convert from something small into something big, you have to divide by 1,000. So what is 10,000 milliliters divided by 1,000? Well, that's going to give you 10, right? So remember, 10,000 milliliters is 10 liters. You have to divide this number by 1,000. If you're not sure, if you don't believe me, you can type this into your calculator. 10,000 divided by 1,000 gives you 10, right? So you see how I did that in my head? Now, let's go through question 8. So question 8 says 50 milliliters is equal to how many liters? Now, you just do the same thing. So you just have to do 50 divided by 1,000. So what should that be? Well, that should be 0.05. You can use your calculator to do this. Okay, so that's that. Now, to convert to milliliters, that's also quite easy. Remember, to convert from 1 meter to how many millimeters, you times it by 1,000, right? So you just have to multiply these numbers by 1,000. So let's say question 10. 14 liters is equal to how many milliliters? I wonder how many. You just times 14 by 1,000, you get 14,000, right? Alright, so I'm not going to do the rest because they're all just the same things. Question, say, 17. Convert to kiloliters. Remember, to convert from liters to kiloliters, you divide by 1,000. Okay, it's kind of like how you convert from milliliter to liter. You divide by 1,000, right? So then 9,000 liters is equal to how many kiloliters? Well, divided by 1,000. So what's 9,000 divided by 1,000? 9. Okay, good. And I'm not going to go through the rest because it's all the same thing. You just divide by 1,000 for all of them. 25. How do you convert from liters? Okay, so 4 kiloliters is equal to how many liters? Remember, to convert from kiloliters to liters, you times it by 1,000. Right. So just times 4 by 1,000, you get 4,000. And you do the same with all these questions. So for 32, how many kiloliters in how many liters in 0.05 kiloliters? You times 0.05 by 1,000 and you have your answer. So your answer should be 50 liters. Alright, so that's section 8 out of the way. Let's look at section B. Now, section B is going to be a little bit more challenging, but don't worry. I'll be here to help you out. It says 1 liter of water fills a volume of 1,000 centimeters cubed. So now what it's doing is expressing a relationship between capacity and volume. Alright, so 1 liter is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters. So I want you to actually memorize this. And 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. And 1 kiloliter is equal to 1 meter cubed. So these are the 3 things that you have to memorize to convert between capacity to volume. Now, in terms of these two are kind of, you can kind of go from this to this because we know that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 centimeter cubed. So if we divide 1 liter by 1,000, we get 1 milliliter, right? And if we divide 1,000 centimeter cubed by 1,000, we get 1 centimeter cubed. So really, you just have to memorize this one and that one. because you're able to obtain this formula from equation 1, right? All right, so let's just do some questions. So let's just do question 1 to start off with, to warm it up. It says, give the number of liters needed to fill each volume. So 3,000 centimeter cubed is equal to how many liters? All right, well, we know that 1,000 centimeter cubed is 1 liter. So that means to go from centimeter cubed to liter, we have to divide by 1,000, right? So then what's 3,000 centimeter cubed in liters? We just divide this number by 1,000, so we get 3. Right. All right, let's do question, say, 12. 0.35 meter cubed is equal to how many liters? Okay, so this one's a little bit more tricky. Now, we don't actually have a relationship between meter cubed and liter, but we do have one between meter cubed and kiloliter. So let's just try to work out how many kiloliter is there, right? So if 1 meter cubed is equal to 1 kiloliter, right? So then how would we convert kiloliter to liters? We know that 1 kiloliter is equal to 1,000 liters, right? So that means 1 meter cubed is equal to 1,000 liters. Now 0.35 meter cubed is equal to how many liters? So what you can do is you can just use the cross method that I explained in the past. You multiply this number with this, and then you divide it by that number. Okay, so that's how you can do that. And if you do that, you should get 350. So if 0.35 meter cubed equals to, if 1 meter cubed equals to 1,000 liters, then 0.35 meter cubed equals to 350 liters. Make sure that when you write it like this, you have your meter cubed on one side and you have your liter on one side. So then the units match. All right, now let's do another question. Say question 14. It says, give the number of kiloliters needed to fill each volume. So 5.6 meter cubed is equal to how many kiloliters? Oops. K should be in capital. Now we know that 1 meter cubed is equal to 1 kiloliter, right? So then 5.6 meter cubed, we can say that's going to be equal to 5.6 kiloliters, right? Because the numbers should match. So that one was pretty easy. Let's have a look at question 20. So it says 0.06 meter cubed is equal to how many kiloliter? Well, like I said before, if 1 meter cubed equals to 1 kiloliter, then 0.06 meter cubed is going to be 0.06 kiloliters, right? So that should be pretty straightforward. All right, now let's do some other questions. So let's say 22. The question says, give the volume of the container for each given capacity. Okay, so in this case, what they're trying to ask you is they want you to convert this into a volume unit. So that could be either centimeters cubed, or meters cubed, or millimeters cubed, right? So let's see, 12.4k kiloliters. So should we use meters cubed or centimeter cubed? So I think we're better off using meters cubed, right? Because there's already a relationship that's written there. So then, how do you convert? Well, if 1 kiloliter equals 1 meter cubed, then 12.4 kiloliters, well, that's 12.4 meter cubed, right? And this is how you can write it in the volume unit. Let's have a look at 28. So it says 600 milliliters. Now, how would you write this in terms of a volume? So let's just have a look. So we know that 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed, right? So if 1 milliliter equals to 1 centimeter cubed, then 600 milliliter, well, that's just going to give you 600 centimeter cubed, right? So that's your answer for 28. All right. Let's take a look at question C. Now, question C, section C is going to be the hard section, so I suggest you pay a lot of attention. Now, here's basically metric units converting between volumes. So, as you still remember from the past, you know that 1 meter squared is equal to what? 10,000 centimeters squared, right? Because we know that 1 meter squared is going to be 1 meter by 1 meter. And that's going to be equal to what? 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters, right? So to convert from meter squared to centimeter squared, you need to convert the length into centimeters and multiply them together. So that gives you 10,000, right? Now, in these examples, what the difference is, now this time is going to be in meters cubed. So rather than squared, it's cubed. So what you have is 1 meter cubed. So what you do is you have a cube. So you have 1 meter, 1 meter, and 1 meter. And they want you to convert into centimeters cubed. So what you can do is you can draw a cube if you want. And it's going to be 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters, and 100 centimeters, right? So if you multiply these numbers out, you should get 1 million centimeters cubed. So here, 1 meter cubed is equal to 100 centimeter times 100 centimeter times 100 centimeter, because 100 centimeter equals to 1 meter, right? So that's how you get the 1 million. Oops. And we know that 1 centimeter cubed is equal to 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter, which equals to 1,000 millimeter cubed. And the reason they write 10 millimeter times 10 millimeter times 10 millimeter is because, let me just show you. So 1 centimeter cubed is equal to 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter, right? And then if you want to convert 1 centimeter to millimeters, it's going to be 10 millimeter times 10 millimeter times 10 millimeter. And if you times these three numbers together, you should get 1,000 millimeters cubed. So that's how they got this. And what I strongly recommend is that you try to memorize these results. If you can't memorize these results, try to work them out like this. Because in the exam, they're not going to tell you these two things because they expect you to already know how to work it out. So let's just have a look at question 1 just to start it off. So 4 centimeter cubed is equal to how many millimeter cubed, right? So if you still remember, 1 centimeter cubed is equal to 1,000 millimeter cubed. So then 4 centimeter cubed is going to be 4,000, right? Now remember, this is not the same as asking how many millimeters is in 4 centimeters, because I remember from the Math Online test, there were some of you that were just trying to convert. Say the question asked this, okay? So say that was the question, and what some of you did was you treated this question the same as this question, and of course you would get the answer wrong, okay? Because these two questions are not the same. They have different answers. One is squared and one is not. Alright, let's take a look at another one. So just take a look at question 16. Question 16 says 0.009 cubic meters is equal to how many centimeters squared? Centimeter cubed. Well, we know that 1 meter cubed is equal to 1 million centimeters cubed, right? So to get from meters to centimeter cubed, you have to times it by 1 million. So then we just have to times this number by 1 million. So what should we get? You can type on the calculator. Times by 1 million. Remember, 1 million has 6 zeros. You should get 9,000, right? So this should be 9,000 centimeters cubed. Okay, so just to recap for today's lesson. In today's lesson, what we did is we learnt about a new thing called capacity, and that's basically liters, milliliters, or kiloliters. So in section A, they're just going to ask you to convert between milliliters to liters, kiloliters to liters, and so on. Now in section B, this is expressing a relationship between capacity and volume. So you need to know that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 centimeter cubed, and so on. And section C is asking you to convert between different volumes. So they can ask you to convert something cubic meters to something cubic centimeters. And to do that, you need to express 1 meter cubed into 1 meter times 1 meter times 1 meter, which equals to 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, and that's how you get this answer here. Now in the exam, they're not going to give you these results. So you see how section B tells you these results, which you can use for the homework. Same with section C. They're not going to tell you. So you need to come up with a way to remember them. Okay. So that should be all for today. I'll see you next time.